I lost 3 years of my life over a crime I didn't commit. My twin sister stole $95,000 from our grandma's trust fund and made it look like I did it. She copied my voice, my walk, even my handwriting. The police believed her. My family believed her. I went to court, fought charges, and lost almost everything. But then her fiancé found something she thought she'd destroyed forever. What he discovered in her apartment didn't just clear my name. It showed everyone exactly how evil my innocent sister really was. Emma and I used to joke about being each other's evil twin. We looked so much alike that even our grandma sometimes called us by the wrong names. We shared everything: clothes, friends, and most importantly, Grandma Rose's love and trust. After our parents died when we were 12, Grandma Rose raised us in her big house in Portland. She had money from selling her flower shop and wanted to make sure we'd be okay when she was gone. So she set up a trust fund, $230,000 for our futures. Both Emma and I had access to help Grandma with her banking. We both knew her passwords and security questions. She trusted us completely. "You're my precious girls," she'd always say. "This money is my love for you, so you'll always be taken care of." But Emma's photography business was failing badly. She had huge credit card bills and was about to lose her apartment. I was doing fine as a nurse, working steady shifts at the hospital. I could see Emma getting more and more bitter about our different situations. "You're so lucky," she'd say with this weird edge in her voice. "Nursing is guaranteed money. Art is just a gamble that's not paying off." Looking back, I should have seen the warning signs. Emma started acting really strange about 6 months before the theft. She'd ask weird questions about my work schedule. She bought scrubs that looked exactly like mine. She even changed her hair to match mine perfectly. But the creepiest thing was how she started copying my voice and the way I moved. Emma had always been louder and more dramatic than me. Suddenly, she was speaking quietly like I do. She started walking with my slightly nervous posture. "Why are you acting so much like me?" I asked her once. She laughed it off. "We're twins. We're supposed to be alike." But it felt wrong. Really wrong. Like she was studying me, not just copying me. The call came on a Tuesday morning in March. I was finishing my night shift when Grandma Rose called, crying. "Sweetie, something terrible happened," she sobbed. "Someone stole almost all the money from the trust fund. $95,000 is gone." I raced to her house, my hands gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles went white. My whole body was shaking. Emma was already there, holding Grandma and looking shocked. The bank had called that morning about suspicious withdrawals over the past 2 months. "Someone used my debit card," Grandma explained, her voice breaking. "They knew all my security information, my mother's name, my first pet, everything." When they showed me the bank's security video, I felt like I was going to throw up. There I was on the screen, except it wasn't me. Same scrubs, same hair, same quiet way of talking to the tellers. My vision went blurry and I grabbed the desk to keep from falling. "That's not me!" I screamed, my voice cracking. "I swear to God, that's not me! I never made those transactions!" But even as the words left my mouth, ice-cold terror was spreading through my chest. Because I knew exactly who it was. I turned to stare at Emma, my heart hammering so hard I thought it might explode. She was playing the concerned sister perfectly. "This is obviously identity theft," Emma said, her voice steady and firm. "Someone must have stolen information about our family." The way she said it, so calm, so sure, made my stomach twist with rage. I wanted to grab her by the shoulders and shake her until she confessed. But who would believe me? We looked identical. The person on the video could have been either of us. The problem was Emma had perfect alibis. She had receipts, social media posts, even photos with timestamps proving she was somewhere else during each withdrawal. Meanwhile, my nursing schedule meant I had 4 days off each week with no way to prove where I'd been. Then the police found the smoking gun in my apartment. Hidden in my closet was Grandma's missing debit card and a handwritten note with all her security answers. The handwriting looked exactly like mine. I stared at that note, my hands trembling so violently I could barely hold it. Pure rage exploded in my chest like a bomb going off. This was Emma's handwriting, the handwriting she'd been practicing for months. She'd planted this in my apartment. She'd been in my home, touching my things, planning my destruction. "I didn't write this!" I screamed at the detective, tears of fury streaming down my face. "My sister did this! She's been copying my handwriting! She planted this here!" But even as I said it, I knew how insane I sounded. Who would believe that someone's own twin sister would frame them for stealing from their grandmother? The detective looked at me with that expression I'd see on so many faces over the next 3 years, pity mixed with disgust. Like I was a pathetic criminal trying to blame my innocent sister for my own crimes. The police arrested me 2 weeks later. I was charged with elder abuse, grand theft, and fraud. When they put the handcuffs on me in front of my neighbors, I felt my mind starting to crack. This wasn't real. This couldn't be happening. But it was happening. The local news picked up the story. Nurse accused of stealing from elderly grandmother. My picture was everywhere, the same face that Emma wore, now branded as a criminal. I lost my job immediately. The hospital couldn't keep a nurse facing theft charges. My savings disappeared into lawyer fees. Friends stopped calling. When I walked into stores, people stared and whispered. I started having panic attacks in public, convinced everyone was looking at me and thinking thief. The worst part was my family. Grandma Rose wouldn't even look at me when I tried to visit. The woman who'd raised me, who'd loved me unconditionally for 23 years, now saw me as a monster who'd stolen from her. "How could you do this to me?" she asked the one time she spoke to me before the trial, her voice hollow with betrayal. "I trusted you with everything. I loved you like my own daughter." I collapsed in her driveway that day, sobbing so hard I couldn't breathe. Emma found me there an hour later and helped me to my car, playing the role of caring sister while my world burned around me. "It's going to be okay," she whispered, rubbing my back as I hyperventilated. "We'll figure this out. I believe you." Even through my breakdown, I wanted to claw her eyes out. She was touching me with the same hands that had stolen from our grandmother. She was comforting me with the same voice she'd used to lie to everyone we loved. Emma played the role of heartbroken sister perfectly. She'd visit Grandma constantly, comforting her about my betrayal. She even started a small fundraising campaign to help Grandma recover some of the lost money. My trial lasted 8 horrible months. The prosecutor painted me as a greedy nurse who took advantage of my elderly grandmother. My lawyer argued that someone had framed me, but we couldn't prove who or how. The jury couldn't decide. After 3 days, they declared a mistrial. The prosecutor decided not to retry the case, but the damage was done. In everyone's eyes, I was guilty, but got away with it on a technicality. For 3 years, I lived in a nightmare that never ended. I worked temp jobs using my middle name, terrified someone would recognize me. I moved to a tiny apartment across town and barely left except for work and therapy. The rage was eating me alive. Some nights I'd lie awake fantasizing about confronting Emma, about screaming the truth at her until she confessed. Other nights I'd plan elaborate ways to prove her guilt. I became obsessed with gathering evidence, taking photos of her suddenly expensive photography equipment, following her to see how she was spending money she shouldn't have had. But every piece of evidence I found could be explained away. New camera? A client paid me well. Designer clothes? I saved up for months. The engagement ring Jake gave her that cost more than my annual rent? Jake's been saving since before we met. I felt like I was going insane. Everyone around me believed a lie, and I was the only one who knew the truth. I started seeing a therapist because I was having thoughts about hurting Emma, really hurting her. The anger was so consuming that some days I couldn't function. Emma, meanwhile, was living her best life. Her photography business was suddenly thriving. She got engaged to Jake, a man who worshipped the ground she walked on. She was planning her dream wedding in Grandma's garden while I wasn't even allowed on the property. I wasn't invited, obviously. The truth came out in the most unexpected way. Jake was renovating Emma's apartment as a surprise before their wedding. He was cleaning out her bedroom closet when he found a file folder stuck behind some old photo equipment. Inside that folder was everything that would have proven my innocence 3 years earlier. Jake found Emma's practice sheets where she'd copied my handwriting over and over until she got it perfect. He found photos she'd taken of me at work to study my posture and expressions. He found a detailed timeline of my nursing schedule that she'd used to plan the withdrawals. But the most damning evidence was a letter Emma had written to herself, like a diary entry, right after the theft. It worked perfectly. Everyone believes she did it. I feel bad about destroying her life, but I was desperate. The business was failing and I was going to lose everything. At least now I have a chance. She'll be fine eventually. She's stronger than me. And if things get too bad, I can always come forward later. But for now, this money is saving my life. Jake also found the real debit card, not the fake one police had found in my apartment, but Grandma's actual card that Emma had been using. She'd kept it as some kind of twisted insurance policy. Jake was horrified. The woman he loved had destroyed her own sister's life and let her family believe a lie for 3 years. He called me that night. "I need you to come over," he said quietly. "I found something you need to see." Jake made a decision that changed everything. Instead of confronting Emma privately, he decided to reveal the truth at their engagement party in front of everyone who had believed her lies. The party was at Grandma's house on a Saturday afternoon. About 30 people were there. Family members who'd shunned me, Emma's friends, Jake's family. I wasn't invited, but Jake had secretly asked me to come. I almost didn't go. Facing all those people who'd believed I was a thief felt impossible. But Jake insisted it was important. Emma looked beautiful in a yellow dress, laughing and showing off her ring. She had no idea what was coming. Jake stood up to make what everyone thought would be a romantic toast. Instead, he placed the file folder on the table where everyone could see it. "Before Emma and I get married," Jake said, his voice shaking with emotion, "everyone needs to know the truth about what happened 3 years ago." Emma's face went white. "Jake, what are you doing?" she whispered. "I'm showing everyone who really stole from Grandma Rose," he replied. The silence was deafening. Jake pulled out the handwriting practice sheets and held them up for everyone to see. Emma spent weeks learning to copy her sister's handwriting. She studied her work schedule. She even kept photos to practice copying her expressions. Grandma Rose looked confused and scared. "What are you talking about?" she asked. Jake read from Emma's own letter, his voice getting stronger with each damning sentence. When he got to the part about destroying her life, gasps echoed through the garden. Emma tried to deny it at first. "This is crazy!" she screamed. "Someone's trying to frame me!" But Jake had too much evidence. When he showed the real debit card with Emma's fingerprints still on it, she completely broke down. "I was desperate," she sobbed, falling to her knees. "My business was dying. I was going to lose everything. I thought I could pay it back before anyone noticed." The look on Grandma's face was heartbreaking, pure shock mixed with rage and grief. "You let me hate my own granddaughter for 3 years, she said, her voice shaking. "You watched me break my heart believing she stole from me." Someone in the crowd started crying. An elderly aunt stumbled backward into her chair, her hand over her mouth in horror. In the silence, you could hear someone's phone hitting the ground. Then, unexpectedly, one person started clapping slowly. Then another. By the time the police arrived, half the guests were applauding, not for the drama, but for the truth finally coming out. Emma was arrested that same day. With Jake's evidence, the case was reopened immediately. She was charged with the original crimes plus perjury, evidence tampering, and filing false police reports. This time, there was no question of guilt. Emma pled guilty to everything and was sentenced to 2 years in prison plus full restitution of $95,000 plus interest. But here's the thing about justice. Sometimes it comes too late to fix everything that was broken. Yes, my name was cleared. Yes, the charges against me were officially dropped. Yes, I got apologies from family members and former friends. But those 3 years of my life were gone forever. I lost my nursing career. Even after being cleared, hospitals were nervous about hiring me because of the publicity. I had to completely retrain in a different field. I lost relationships that mattered to me. Some family members apologized, but others were too embarrassed about believing Emma to face me. A few actually seemed angry that I'd been proven innocent, like I'd somehow tricked them. My relationship with Grandma Rose slowly healed, but it was never the same. She felt terrible about doubting me. But I could see in her eyes that part of her wondered if she'd ever really known either of her granddaughters. "Can you forgive me?" she asked through tears when we first talked after Emma's arrest. "Of course," I said, "but forgiveness and trust are different things. It took a long time to rebuild what Emma had destroyed." People think a happy ending means everything goes back to normal, but that's not how real life works. Even though I was cleared, the experience changed me in ways I'm still discovering. I struggle with trust now. When cashiers take too long to process my card, I wonder if they think I'm stealing. When new coworkers are friendly, I question if they've Googled my name and found the old news stories. When people stare at me too long, I assume they remember me as that nurse who stole from her grandma. I went to therapy for 2 years. My therapist helped me understand that what Emma did was a form of identity theft that went beyond money. She stole my reputation, my relationships, and my sense of safety in the world. The anger comes in waves. Some days I feel sorry for Emma and hope prison helped her become a better person. Other days I'm furious that she only served 18 months while I lost 3 years of my life to her lies. Jake broke up with Emma that same day after her confession. He felt sick knowing he'd been engaged to someone who could destroy her own family so coldly. He actually testified against her in court, which helped ensure she got the maximum sentence. Emma wrote me letters from prison, begging for forgiveness and claiming she'd wanted to confess countless times but was too scared. I never wrote back. Some wounds are too deep for simple apologies. She was released after 18 months with good behavior. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she moved to another state and changed her name. Good. I hope I never see her again. The money was eventually recovered through restitution payments and asset seizure. Grandma got most of it back, but the legal fees and lost interest meant she was still out about $15,000. More importantly, the money couldn't buy back the 3 years of lost trust and broken relationships. I'm 31 now, and I'm finally building a new life. I work in medical administration instead of direct patient care, fewer background checks, less scrutiny. I'm dating someone who knew nothing about my past when we met, which feels like a gift. But Emma's betrayal still affects me daily. I keep copies of receipts for everything. I avoid shopping alone because I don't want to be accused of stealing if there's some misunderstanding. I've never told my boyfriend the full story because I'm terrified he'll look at me differently. The hardest part is that Emma didn't just steal money. She stole my identity and turned it into something ugly. For 3 years, when people heard my name, they thought thief. Even now, cleared of all charges, I sometimes wonder if that shadow will ever completely disappear. But I survived. I rebuilt my life from nothing. And every day I choose to keep moving forward instead of letting Emma's actions define me forever. I haven't responded to any of Emma's letters, whether they came from prison or after her release. Some nights I think about her looking in the mirror and seeing my face staring back. I wonder what she sees now, the sister she destroyed, or just another stranger she used and discarded. Last week, Grandma got an envelope in the mail. No return address. Just one word on the card inside. Forgive. I found it on her kitchen table and read it before she could see it. My hands shook as I recognized Emma's handwriting, still practicing to be perfect, still trying to manipulate from a distance. I slipped it into my purse without telling Grandma. Some wounds don't deserve to be reopened, no matter how much time passes. But here's what really haunts me. I moved across town to start over, changed jobs, even changed my hair. Last week, I saw someone watching me from across the street. Same walk, same hoodie, same tilt of the head that I've seen in mirrors my whole life. But Emma's in another state, isn't she? Maybe I'm being paranoid. Maybe 3 years of betrayal made me see threats that aren't there. Or maybe some people never stop watching, never stop planning, never stop being the evil twin they chose to become. Have you ever been falsely accused by someone you trusted? How did you rebuild your life afterward? Share your experience in the comments. Sometimes knowing we're not alone helps us heal. If this story helped you understand the long-term effects of betrayal, please like and subscribe for more real stories about justice, family drama, and survival. Remember, clearing your name doesn't erase the damage, but it's still worth fighting for the truth.